Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition is launching next month, and there is a ton of stuff to go over when it comes to new updates and discussions that we need to have on this game. So let's go ahead and jump right into it, starting out with some brand new gameplay that was revealed from the official Monolith Soft Xenoblade Chronicles Twitter account and translated by Xenoblade EN. And they state that you can instantly activate an art by using the new quick recast mechanic during the art's waiting time. When you activate a quick recast, energy gain, the green gauge, is consumed. Energy gain is fully restored at the end of a battle. So this is something that they actually pointed out when it comes to the upgrades and additions to the game, the quick recast feature that's going to help speed up the amount of arts that you can use per a battle and just the flow and pacing of combat, which is definitely a welcomed addition. Now, the combat in Xenoblade is already very engaging and I would say entertaining and fun, especially in Xenoblade Chronicles X, but I do think that this new addition of the quick recast is definitely going to be very nice to add in. So it's cool that they gave us an extra look at a new feature that's going to be in the game, and this gameplay looks phenomenal. Xenoblade Chronicles X might be the best looking Xenoblade game when you take everything overall when it comes to the scope and the scale, the open world, the beauty. There's so many things to like about this, and with this remaster, they're really touching it up and making it even better overall. So I'm loving the new gameplay features, loving what they've been able to add in, loving how it kind of just flows, and the sound effects and the pop of everything is just super nice to go over overall. So very excited about that, and I love the fact that Monolith Soft always does this with their new games. They'll trickle out some information here and there, then bookend it with big trailers as well. So very excited to see what they do going forward, which we are going to talk about in just a bit more. But I do want to talk about something else that this gameplay trailer showed us, that the colors and the graphics are popping a bit more. This is the look at the final, or probably near final, version of the game. So this is how it's going to look overall, and it's definitely looking a lot crisper and nicer than the original, less muted overall with the tone of the game and just like the vibrancy. It was already a beautiful game with great colors and great contrast and everything, but now it even looks a bit better. And then you combine that with the improved font, with the sizes, and just how cleaner everything looks overall. Looks like it's running in a little bit crisper resolution as well, which you're not going to really be able to tell via YouTube compression and Twitter compression overall, but I do think that it's running a lot crisper and better than what we saw on the Wii U, or at least it's translating that way. I don't know what else they've done. We have to wait till Digital Foundry kind of opens up the game and looks at everything, but it definitely looks a bit more sharp and crisp overall when it comes to the tone and graphics of the game. And that's absolutely one of the best things about Xenoblade Chronicles X, is how the scope and scale in the world and what they were able to do with limited hardware compared to what you see on Xbox and PlayStation for the most part, but what they were able to get out of just the Wii U and now with the Nintendo Switch is probably one of the most, if not the most impressive thing about Xenoblade Chronicles X. This is a full open scope, open world RPG where you can travel pretty much anywhere right there seamlessly with no loading in between, outside of I think maybe a few spots here and there. But overall, it's a very impressive package graphically, what they're able to do, and why so many people feel that Monolith Soft are masters at their craft when it comes to open world or open-ended RPGs and how they're able to look. I think that the tone and vibe of the actual gameplay with the swords and the blades and the pistols really fits the atmosphere, and I think it vibes and gels very well with the aesthetics and the art in the game too. So it's very cool to see what they're doing, and I cannot wait to see more of the new features and additions that they're adding in. But speaking of features and additions, you guys should become an addition to PlayerEssence as well, especially if you're not subscribed to the channel. A lot of you guys watch that aren't subscribed. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and click that notification bell to get all of my Xenoblade Chronicles videos and more as soon as they drop. Now let's go ahead and jump into the next topic here and updating with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, and that's what you guys think. Yes, the viewers. Without us picking up the games and being excited and commenting and all that, none of this would be happening at all. So let's go and get into what you guys have to say. A bit ago, I actually put up a poll on the official PlayerEssence community page, and I stated, what are you looking forward to most in Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition? I had 4 different things to go over, and that was updated visuals, quality of life features, gameplay, new content, story, new story content, and scales/mechs. And overwhelmingly, nearly half of you guys said story/new story content with 47% of the vote. And you know what? It makes sense a bit, man. If you're looking at it, there's so many people that haven't played this game, and I think that people are wanting to know what happens because the game does end on a cliffhanger. So people are wanting to know if this is going to be something that Monolith Soft does in the future. Are there going to be any ties that they try to do with Xenoblade Chronicles, the trilogy? Is it going to be something to where it can really branch off? How much is the content? What are they adding in here? That's probably one of the most intriguing things when it comes down to it. And I kind of see it maybe somewhat like how some people were very excited about Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance and the story elements and things that they added there, because the original story was a little bit lackluster here and there. And I think that there are some parallels here, at least what people would want. And I don't know if they're going to rehaul as much as Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance did. I doubt that they're going to add that much story stuff, but I do think that it's going to be pretty significant considering what they've shown us so far overall. Now, I do want to get into the community, the top rated comment on there, and what Mr. Daniel Stuck had to say. And he said, based on this poll, a lot of people may be setting themselves up for disappointment. I'm super excited for the new story stuff, and that was the biggest part of the last trailer, so I get it. Please remember that this is a gameplay first Xenoblade game of the series. It's structurally just not going to reach the highs of the main series when it comes to the story, but exploration and combat is arguably the best in the series. So yeah, I have to agree for the most part with what Mr. Daniel has to say here. The story is definitely not hitting the same highs and all of that we saw with Xenoblade 1, 2, and 3, considering the connections between them, what happens, the characters, and all of that. It's just not there because they don't have a cast that's as strong as the original Xenoblade games. But there are some really cool things that I think people just want to see resolved in it. Can they do a better job? So I think that's one of the things that people are just really excited about. There could be people that are very excited for a lot of other things and kind of know that that's not going to be the strong suit, but they just really want to see what happens. And I think that's what we're seeing here, because for the most part, it's Xenoblade. People know the Xenoblade combat. People know what's going on with it. They've seen it. They've watched it. We know, but we don't know about the story elements in this game. That's the unknown. So I think people are just excited and hyped about that. But I absolutely see what Daniel is talking about here, and I think it's going to be a crazy ride when it comes to combining all of these different things that I talked about here. Visuals, quality of life, gameplay, new content, story, scales, all that is going to create a very, very good Xenoblade experience, and something that people have been wanting for so long. We've been port begging for this. We've been remaster begging, remake begging, whatever you want to call it. We've been asking for this for over a half decade now at this point. It's just super awesome when it comes down to it. Now, I do want to mention something else that I forgot to kind of talk about in my previous Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition update video when it comes to what makes the game so good, and I wanted to spend a bit more time. And yes, I talked about it a little bit with gameplay, but I think that this open world, that is such a key element within the gameplay and what it does. I think that it really sets itself apart from other Xenoblade games in that sense, because you can travel across the world in such speed, but with the exploration that you'd want to see. Usually in Xenoblade games, yeah, there's other ways to travel a bit faster here and there based on the maps and what they've done, but there's nothing like this overall. Flying around in mechs just makes it a very beautiful experience that I think that intertwines very nicely, once again, the gameplay first type of focus that Daniel talked about, which it is definitely that. There might be long periods of time where you don't see really much or any story when it comes down to it, and you're also someone who doesn't speak as your main character. You don't have a set main character like Shulk or Noah and Mio or Rex or anything like that. It is a user-defined character that doesn't speak and talk, so it's not going to get you the same vibe as being attached to like Rex or being attached to some of the other characters that we've had before in the Xenoblade series. So I do think that there is a little bit of a disconnect there, but overall I still feel that the open world is just so stunning and so beautiful, and still to this day the best, if not one of the best open worlds that you'll ever see. And it truly ties into how great the game can be, especially when you see all the different types of wildlife and see how everything just kind of works. And on the Wii U, it was mind-blowing to see a game like this. There just wasn't really anything else like it, and honestly there's nothing else like it. This is one of a kind on the Wii U at least. One of the few games that can truly do a true open world like this with this much freedom and flexibility and not buckle under the pressure. So very excited in that, right? So the open world is absolutely something that you should be excited and looking forward to, and one of the major things with the game, why you need to check it out, why you need to play it, you need to buy it. One of the things that I think is going to blow people away overall, especially if you've never experienced it at all and you're going into it for the first time, get ready. Now, I still feel that there could be a new trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition at a Nintendo Direct or just dropped on Twitter. They like to do just Twitter drops when it comes to certain things with this game, and they're starting to ramp up the marketing on the official Nintendo of America Twitter page. You're starting to see more posts, so that's definitely good. They've been posting on the game, but now it's getting a bit more frequent, letting people know about pre-orders, showing off new gameplay, and that's also in combination with the Monolith Soft Japanese account for Xenoblade Chronicles. So there's just a nice combined effort to show off this game a bit more and just discuss exactly what you're getting with it, showing off new screenshots and everything. So it's definitely a good thing. So I hope that we get a new trailer this month with a brand new Nintendo Direct. If we get a brand new Nintendo Direct that goes over some of the last Nintendo Switch 1 games and kind of what's going on there, on top of getting a brand new Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition trailer with details on some of the new features, but probably the online play. That's the last big unknown about this game, outside of some of the story stuff of what they're going to do, but non-spoiler wise, like what are they going to do with the online play? It does say up to 32 players when it comes to the online on Nintendo's account for this game, and we know that before you can kind of get into these different lobbies or cells where you have a bunch of different people and rent out their soldiers and everything, but are they going to expand and upgrade that? How are they going to do it? The original Wii U game is no longer online. The eShop has been pulled, the online has been pulled, so they could have definitely made a lot of tweaks or kind of take what the base was of that game and enhance it and fix it in certain ways. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the online play, because they have not mentioned anything of it, but we know that it's going to be in there. Now, sometimes you see online multiplayer stripped from remasters or remakes. We saw that with Uncharted. They stripped out the multiplayer from the Uncharted collection games on the PlayStation 5 and all that, which was very unfortunate, but this one, they're keeping it in. So let's see exactly how it actually works with everything here. And yeah, I think it's just going to be super cool. I never really played online a ton with Xenoblade Chronicles X because I was just so focused on the single player campaign and playing and enjoying that. But with this one, now that I have a bigger community and people to play with overall, I think that we're definitely going to check it out if there's some good online play to happen. And if it's like what I experienced with the Wii U and how you have those 4-man teams and go out and do missions, and there's certain stuff that you can just get by doing the online multiplayer, I think it's going to be a pretty solid package when it comes to everything that it offers. Now, for the last topic, I want to get into just a little bit about the notion that this game with Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition, with the story and new stuff that they add, could potentially show a sequel or foreshadow a sequel, so a Xenoblade Chronicles X2. And I don't necessarily think that's going to be the case with this. And there's a number of reasons why. One, because they've already been recruiting and they've already been making their new game for quite some time, well before Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition even is being marketed and plotted. So I'm just not sure if they're going to say, hey, we're waiting for this thing for you guys to understand what we've been developing for. But I also think that they want to do something a little bit new and different and not build off of something that they've done before. So even if it is a brand new Xenoblade game or a Xeno something, I think they're going to try a new angle, a new twist. And that's something that Mr. Takahashi has even stated himself, saying that this is going to be a very different thing, a very new style than what they've done before. So that tells me that they're not really going to build off of what they've had. So the original Xenoblade games are kind of building off and tweaking and adding different things. Xenoblade X was definitely a very different style of game, but it did build off a little bit of what Xenoblade Chronicles 1 did with the combat UI and the battle system for some aspects. But I think that they're going to try to do something completely different and new, very much like how there are some ties and some stuff that you can find similar between Xenosaga and Xenoblade, but they're very much different franchises overall. So I think that that is going to be the direction that Monolith Soft goes, and I don't think that Xenoblade Chronicles X and its sales or what people have to say in terms of reviews or anything is going to affect or is going to be built upon from what they do with their next game. Now, there could be some elements and stuff because there's always different things, small things, big things here and there, but I think that they're truly going to go in a new path outside of any of the original Xenoblade games or Xenoblade Chronicles X. But we're gonna have to wait and see on that when it comes to the Monolith Soft Nintendo Switch 2 Direct coming up in April. So hopefully we get a sneak peek there, or at least sometime this year, maybe during the Direct at the end of the year if it doesn't happen at the Nintendo Switch 2 Nintendo Direct. So what do you guys think about everything that we discussed here? Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and check out my other Nintendo Switch RPG videos and more right here on screen. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you guys for the next one. Peace.